I had enough with all the bullshit. It's gotta fucking stop. It's something like something. Oh, yep. If you want to listen to something else, man, man, this is something I got to play for y'all, man. It's just it's a little clip. It's a clip that was from I think it's from a Home Alone movie, man. I couldn't recall. This came from a Home Alone movie. Look, fuck, it ain't working for anybody in the show business, but I'm telling you, this shit ain't go fucking run away from. This shit you can't run away from. All right, see things going on with all the people that's already out, and after all the bullshit with GameStop closing and all that. Checked. I checked. There's no mention of GameStop or St. Andrew Street, closing. So I mean, they closed for like you know for a reason. I read some things that people already have on Reddit, and it wasn't Reddit. It came from other people. You know, what I'm saying that. So I'm saying that people have they already been on Reddit and other sites. Those other sites could have more than what you have already expected. See, all you got, is Walmart. I don't know what happened to all the GameStops. They had the GameStop that's left in Jefferson Highway, and then there's Railroad, there's Chalmette. They have a GameStop that was in Metro. They have all the GameStops that was left. So one GameStop is down on the north side. And then you got we had one GameStop that was down on on this side of town, which was the south. So the only place they could go to that was Walmart. They always sell a bunch of games, but it's all they have. But they can sell the PS5 games and all that other stuff, especially games for like the the Xbox One. You know what I'm saying? All these stuff type of things that they could be sold. If people want to say something about a record, if you listen to like a record, like you listen to an Ice T record that people would have start liking a certain rap artist, or you can, or you might be end up liking a certain uh, uh, rock band or thrash metal band, like as of body count. So this happened with the controversy with Tom Warner, right? With Warner Brothers, there was controversy over the album Cop Killer, right? See, it was like reminds you of something that went on with Ronald Ray Howard. With Ronald Ray Howard, who was like uh, a black person, a young black kid comes from Texas, like the state of Texas, a rough neighborhood that he grew up in. He grew up in. So my thing is, let's explain this for the topical reason. Let's explain this for a topical reason. See, in April of 1992, it always goes to where Ronald Ray Howard, uh, he started cruising through the state of Texas in a stolen vehicle, which was like a Chevrolet Blazer. So he he ends up getting pulled over by uh, a Department of Public Safety state trooper who goes by the name of William Bill Davidson. He was a state trooper. So Howard Howard had the gun on the passenger side of a stolen vehicle. So he pulled out the gun and killed Davidson. He killed uh, DPS Trooper Davidson. Shot him in cold blood. See, one thing is happening with Davidson. He was down on the ground. All the bullets in him, all the bullets in him. So Howard drove off in that stolen vehicle, the stolen Blazer. He drove off, and he drove off. And then he got another state trooper who was working closely with Davidson. He probably had already stopped him. He stopped Howard because Howard had killed a colleague of his. That his name is William Davidson. So then Howard took those cops on a high speed chase in Texas. I was like 9 years old. I was 9 years old with that footage. When that happened with in Texas with with the incident with Howard and Davidson. Should fucked me up because I didn't know he was gonna kill that guy. And the guy's this white guy is probably a cop, but he's a state trooper. So what consequences he was trying to do? Drive off in a stolen vehicle and then And then he go drive off and run away from a slew of state troopers. So the trooper pulled him over. He pulled Howard over. They they arrested him. They arrested him and locked him up. They locking him up for the murder of William Davidson. So they arrested uh, Ronald Ray Howard for murder. There was accounts. I think some counts of there was murder of William Davidson, who was a DPS state trooper. So it's all went on with the violence started to happen in other places, especially the cold places. Sad shit that happened to everybody in their motherfucking day. That's worse. It had something to do with Howard listening to um a certain rap album, like the gangster rap album. Like, let's say he listens to the debut album that was from Tupac. It was called Tupacalypse Now. Now see, Howard is telling the lawyer he was listening to the album. He listens to Soldier Story. It wasn't that line like when it was like, remember Rodney King and not blast on his punk ass. It was like before the other line was like they pulled me over and I laughed. Remember Rodney King and not blast on his punk ass. That shit, like, see, all of a sudden it all goes from the motherfucking lyrics. Like the lyrics, man. They ain't talk about Tupac Shakur's album that only contains some anti-cop lyrics. So Dan Quayle, who used to be the vice president of this entire country, he was calling to get that album, the copies of Tupac's album, off the shelves. And then all of a sudden they're trying to get that other album off the shelves. Is the album Cop Killer. That was from Ice T and his and the group Body Count. So all the controversy went on because of the songs like Soldier Story from Tupac and Cop Killer from Body Count. So the thing about Body Count, I listened to the album anyway. So when I was on the road, I listened to uh I listened to the album. We all do that. The album, it completely has parental advisory on it. Even if a person gets scared and get offended by a Stephen King book, probably like those like It, or it was like the movie It, or you know what I'm saying, or they get offended by it with some blood that was on the cover of a Stephen King movie. It was a cover of it, and it's called It. It was on VHS. It was on videotape. So, but people get so offended by it. So if you tell me if a white person gets offended by the lyrics and he ain't offended by it, he already started loving it. He could have enjoyed it a lot, but he gets so offended and it causes a person to get the PTSD in them. That's worse than That's worse. That's worse than they're suffering the attention deficit disorder. That's that's just too much. That's just beyond negative. See, this was after all this happened with Dr. Dre. You know, what I mean, his his relationship, that R&B singer, girlfriend of his, Michelle. It started to fall apart anyway because he uh he probably got some wind of the interview with Ice Cube and D Barnes from Pump It Up. It's a show that was from Fox Broadcasting Company. She was interviewing like Dr. Dre and Easy E and a few members and Ice Cube. She interviewed them separately because Tierra B was interviewing Easy E long before it. So Drake got so mad, Drake got so fucking angry, he got drunk, and he ends up fucking going to the women's restroom and started punching and beating the shit out of D Barnes. Even he doesn't even know that D Barnes was married to the guy who got featured on a Snoop Doggy Dogg album, Doggy Style, who had to be Easy Dick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's Ricky Harris. Ricky Harris have already known Snoop Dogg and Nate Dogg, especially. He have known them. He knew Snoop and Nate, and he probably knew that Dr. Dre started attacking his wife in a public restroom. He feel bad for beating up Ricky Harris's wife. Yeah, he felt bad, but he felt that he was insulted or attacked or something. That's kind of like it upsets him and made him mad, made him want to go crazy and start beating her up. And he commenced to beating her up. That'd be enough for her to not have that show anymore. Enough for D Barnes to quit her job. Fox is not gonna air. They probably stop airing Pump It Up after all the shit that's happened with her getting beat up. But that's where the abuse had to be like became more rampant. This shit happened with Dr. Dre. End up driving off in a Ferrari, that was from like it was an old sports car that was been out since the late 1980s. It was a Ferrari. He got pulled over for like DUI and drunk driving. He got arrested in like January of 19, it was January of 1993, I think. It was a DUI and things like that. He had a drinking problem. Long before all this shit happened with him, and then the tour gets canceled. Long before all this bullshit. And Snoop, he gets involved in a drive-by shooting, but he ain't killed the guy. He wasn't even a killer. He doesn't even have the gun with him. The one person who had killed uh, a man named Philip Walder Merriam is McKinley Lee Jr. His old bodyguard. He pulled the trigger and killed the guy. Uh, Philip Walder Merriam. I think they call him Little Smooth. I think there was an argument that was outside of Snoop's house. Snoop was in a Jeep. He was in a Jeep Cherokee. I think it was August 25th, 1993. Snoop was in a Jeep, and you know, there's an argument. The commotion came from that was way in L.A. In a few weeks after McKinley Lee, after McKinley Lee had pulled the trigger and killed he killed uh Little Smooth, like pum 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 pum. He shot him. So Snoop wanted to turn himself in on September the third of that year, probably for an accessory to murder. So that was so terrible at the period. So 1992 goes right back. Dr. Dre, he owed those people so much money. You know what I'm saying? He ended up burning his house down for some reason. I think that's what Easy E was trying to tell R.J. Watkins on a never before seen interview. It was an interview that was never been found. It was a lost one. It was a lost interview. He's saying something about how Dr. Dre is scared to to face him. And Easy found out that Dre had screwed up a little, and that's just led to some disses back and forth. Then Dr. Dre had to be at his house on some house arrest type of deal, house arrest thing. Him and Ice Cube, him and Ice Cube, they were working on doing this joint album. It was called Helter Skelter. It's like the hat that Dr. Dre wears. It's like the hat that Dr. Dre wears. He wore it in he wore it in at a party. He wore it at at a concert. While he was out there, he was on stage with Snoop with the 6'4" Chevy Impala parked on the stage. So like all the slew problems that kept Dre from going to the Can-Am studio because of the house arrest thing. But Dre was working on the second album that was for Death Row. For Death Row, it was called The Chronic 2. Uh, Papa's got a brand new funk, but I think he probably have scrapped it all because of what really happened with the situation. There's rumors about him being gay and everything. And just let him, you know, to depart from Death Row. If it was like February of 1996, he was leaving. He was leaving Death Row because it's too many gangsters. There's too many gangsters in the studio. You know, they ain't got shit to do with it. All this, it's always fun and games every time. So he left and started his own situation again. So he had to form Aftermath Entertainment. So he wanted to start doing his own thing, and caused a situation with the Chronic 2 album. So he had to scrap it because of the situation that he had to go through. And all of a sudden there was rumors that he was knocking boots with some guy named Bruce. But that's just something that he wanted to do with a guy. That's his thing. Everybody else have price to pay now because they learned not to be on some going to war type of thing. They just wanted to have some sort of empathy and sympathy for for a guy who's already going through a lot by working with an artist who was not even marketable, who's who had came from a long line of soldiers. And I'm talking about Tupac Shakur. Let me explain to y'all about what happened to him. Back when he was a kid at the time, his mom, his mom Afeni Shakur, she wanted to punish him by getting him to read the New York Times newspaper from like cover to cover. And she will quiz him about everything and he will learn from the New York Times newspaper. So this is not even what it's supposed to be here. You have learned all this from him. See, you have all sorts of stuff. I mean, I mean, he's been in groups like Strictly Dope. You know what I'm saying? He been in Strictly Dope, and I didn't even know why he was in that group. They explain why he was in that group. So see, it's an old photo of Tupac. Um, see, they had him on the cover of Marin magazine. Okay, this is from like 1988. The other photos of him who used to have hair on his head. I gotta find. Let me go find it, dude. I got to find it, dude. Ugh. I got to find that picture they have of him in Strictly Dope. Let me go find this picture. See, there's a still shot of Tupac. This is from his high school interview in 1988. After the interview, he was out on the streets. That's when he was like 17 years old. We gotta go find we gotta go find his previous rap group that was from the 80s. Trying to find it, so we go find it. We gotta look for this thing now. Yeah, jump on back to it then. We'll go find the Strictly Dope poster they have of him with the rest of the group. Let's find it, man. We go find it, man. It's gonna take a while, man. Well, see, they ain't got no photos. They ain't got no photos of him with strictly dope. But this right here, this is an old photo of Tupac. This is an old photo of Tupac right here. Look at this. This photo was taken in the I think at least in the 1990s. Yeah, all the jewels on it and everything. There's other pictures which I'll show you here. There's other picture here. Can you passport image? Yep. I could find some more of this now. This a photo. This a photo of Tupac. This a photo of Tupac when this picture was taken when he did Brenda's Got a Baby. They got no other photos of him with strictly dope. They got no other photos of him with strictly dope in it. So they're supposed to show. They're supposed to have that picture. Him and strictly dope. With him and strictly dope, they ain't have no picture of him. This other picture here. This picture was taken in like 1991 right here. This was taken in 1991. It's a picture. It's a picture of Tupac. It's a picture of Tupac, Easy E, and Dr. Dre. This picture was so taken um, before Dre had departed from for Ruthless. He ended up starting Death Row with Suge Knight. The other pictures they don't even have of him there. But this one right here, this one right here could have been more of a keeper. It's a photo. It's a photo of Tupac when he was. This is Tupac when he was performing out on bail at it was at the Source Awards. It was taken in like what 1994. This was before he had to go to the back. The other picture they have of Tupac. The other picture of Tupac. This was taken in like 1993, I think. This was taken in 1993, periodically when he would start performing at a show. He was performing at a show there. I'm gonna find this for y'all. And he started giving people the finger and things like that. See, the rap game, they owed this man a lot. They owed him a lot. You know what I'm saying? But they did. They owed him a lot, man. They got shit of him with strictly dope, bro. None. They don't have no strictly dope picture. They don't have no picture of him doing nothing. Just old photos of Pac uh, on a death row thing. As photos of him when he was on death row. As photos of him when he was in Interscope in TNT recordings. There's a photo of him with see there's some things that I don't even know why. There's a photo of Tupac. See this picture here. This is from like 1993, I think. It's a photo of Tupac with Jada Pinkett. Anybody remember him? Anybody remember her from these two? I think he used to go to school with her in I think it was in Maryland. It was in Baltimore. He used to go to school with her in Baltimore, Maryland. It was at the School for the Arts. Day back when Tupac was like a teenager. Here he is linking up with Jada. You know what I'm saying? This is before. This is like before. This is right after a different world. After a different world was was a different world. It was going off the airwaves. But this is before she decided to get into the acting, like Menace to Society, Jason's Lyric, Set It Off, and all these other movies. They asking did Tupac and somehow they say saying like did Jada Smith. They're saying that Jada Pinkett Smith dates Tupac Shakur. Other photos they have of them, it's a photo of them in happier times here. That's a history behind uh, their relationship. There's more where it came from, folks. And it's more of him right here when he started kissing on Jada. He loved Jada. He loved Jada so much, man. He wants so much. He wanted to be with her so badly. That's the history behind the relationship that Tupac and Jada had. You know what I mean? That's the history behind their relationship. So that's all been known there. There's other things they're trying to show you. They're trying to put there, but this is like the before picture here. They got another picture of there's a comparisons with the picture they have of Tupac and Jada. This is them when they met, and this is after Jada was at a show when Easy E had met her. They got an old photo of them um, in I think it was in Baltimore. This is a photo. This is a photo of them in Baltimore, Maryland. Jada was like the young, nonchalant type of woman. She's already been so into acting. Tupac wanted to be into the acting. He was ready. He was ready. He wanted to learn Shakespeare and and all sorts of stuff. This was from 1986, 1987. Those all been had. It's the old photo they have of Pac. That's an old photo of Pac in 1993. You know what I'm saying? That photo was already been taken. That's all the rare stuff they have. There's a photo of him and Janet Jackson. Got a photo of Pac when he was in jail. There's lots of photos they have of him. Anything can happen in the business that you can't even get yourself into. Anybody could have been invested in that person. You ain't got no other photos they have of a Pac with Strictly Dope. They have no other pictures of him. Machiavelli character that he must have not even put himself through it. This is what see see the person see this is what Tupac was getting the name from. He's getting the name from an Inca chief named Tupac Amaru II. His name came from an Inca chief. You know what I'm saying? That's where he gets it from. But his mom picked that name that was from an Inca chief. That's where it came from. There was an interview with Tupac from BET. That was in 1994. They got an interview with Tupac that was from 1992. They might have that. Probably had that. Yeah, they probably had that too. Look, they have that too. They got the Brotherhood Crusade '96, all that stuff. But it's all the stuff that came from Tupac when all this came from him. Then nobody else even found that he had a lot of people. They did not want to get him into the mix. It's the life that they already caught into. All this all taken away. See, the movies that Tupac is featured in, there was Juice, there's Poetic Justice, there's Above the Rim, but he was featuring nothing but trouble. It was before Above the Rim. Not before Above the Rim. It was before this was before Juice. Uh see they have Poetic Justice, they have Above the Rim. He ain't made no movies in '95, so but 1996 he did this movie. It was a movie called Bullet that was released, and There was Gridlock. I think Gridlock was already in it too. I think Gridlock was already in it too. Yeah, Gridlock. It was a posthumous movie. It was him and it was Tupac. It was Tupac and Tim Roth. Bullet is another movie that's already been released in '96. Gang Related was a posthumous movie that was already in the memory of that man right there. It's in the memory of Pac. Gridlocked, Gridlocked was already dedicated to the memory of Pac. So all the other stuff that came out, all the stuff that came from the interviews, the interview with Pac, is came through beef and Tupac resurrection. That's where it came from. It got emanated into the beef documentary. Some things that don't even ever change. Some things that don't ever make no sense. They never changed. Some things just never change. That's how you can handle everything that you wanted to get into. Once you're not into the world of acting and you already want to be an actor, be an actor. If you want to be a movie star, go to an acting school. You can learn to be an actor, but don't put yourself into situations like where other people had to be on hold for something. Some people need to get the education that some people need to get the education that they needed anyway. Yeah, I had to tell y'all what happened here. It's extremely cold outside, man. I was gone this morning. I didn't know how cold it was out there. It's extremely cold. But other things do happen in a worse way. I had to make sure. Them dogs will not shut the fuck up. Stupid fucking dogs, man. All of a sudden, you had to go hear them bark and bark and bark. Some things have to be learned too. I learned this a long time ago. I mean, that's one thing is I can't even comprehend on like you can't come back to where you were put on the earth and you're doing it. Even though you gotta go back to the roots and all that. You ain't afraid to go back to where you came from or nothing. Unless you gotta get your roots in. Yeah, it's all went on to the last interviews they had with Tupac. They have the interview with him in the early '90s, like '91. They got one with him in like '93. Might have an interview that was from like 1992. I did not even know they have one. They might have another couple of interviews. I feel it's from like Chuck Phillips. That was from like 1993. It's an audio tape of it. They have one from like 1994. So they have audio interviews. They have interviews and things like that. So they have more. Anybody can go out there and have their fun if they have wanted. I'm gonna just finish this. I'm gonna finish this thing. So you can't even go anywhere deep within the upper context. I'm gonna put this shit in I might go do another interview later. I'm gonna leave this laptop on, not this laptop. I'm gonna leave this PC on again. Okay, so I can get on back to playing. At least I might as well go back to playing Rogue Company. I think I'll go back to playing Rogue Company while I'm filming myself doing it again. Now I'm gonna have to make sure I can take my chances. Oh yeah, I got another live show that's based on me um watching this little documentary. Is based on Snoop Dogg versus Death Row.